Here we go. Disco, disco, disco. Where were we?
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment building. It's locked.
Talking to the lady in the
This
door.
could be a way into the apartment building the smoking man vanished into.
Thank you, visual calculus.
The door rattles against your knuckles, but there's no response. The door rattles again, but this time you hear an elderly woman's voice calling out from inside.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside.
This is the police. Hold on, who am I
Doesn't
talking
matter
to?
who I am. Now go on, get out of here.
This is the police.
The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here.
Just let me inside,
No,
it's cold.
I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door with the smoker. You already were there. Didn't work.
I checked the backyard, but I
Good.
couldn't get
We
in.
had enough problems with bums and drunks and thieves loitering in the hallway. You have no business here.
Come on.
You're well versed in the kind of threatening legalese that implies criminal liability, but in fact has no meaning whatsoever.
Am I?
Obviously, look at that vague yet threatening stuff spewing forth from your mouth.
Ma'am, your non-compliance is hindering a police matter. I may be forced to refer you for potential prosecution.
I know my rights, and don't you mom me, boy.
Miss, would it help if we offer to show you our badges?
Oh, fuck.
Ah, it's like a carrot to the stick, sort of.
Hold your horses. I don't care about your stinking badge. Just come in.
Ugh. Cleaning lady.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis.
Should I call a doctor?
I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me.
You're still worried. It's very worrying.
Now, what do you want from me, policeman?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
I'm looking for a young male in his mid-20s, dark hair, skinny build, a smoker on the balcony.
Yes, yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for?
I just want to talk to him. He's wanted for murder.
Talk?
What was so funny about that?
What was so funny about that?
He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening.
Is it the
Thank
evening?
you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
A few questions.
Ask away, policeman.
Can you tell me about
The
Cindy?
artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still, she leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others.
That's all.
Oh,
Who are you?
I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways.
You live here?
if you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the coal room. It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's all I need from this world.
And all she gets, too. The coastal wind beats down hard on the coal room door outside. Splashes of waves make the balcony slippery. She hasn't spoken to anyone for a while. Even her sentences feel rusty.
Rusty sentences. What the fuck did I just do? A firing squad for the rich. Apartment number 8. Door number 9 is locked.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10. The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to the door. You can feel tension on the other side. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Okay. Your tone is now getting a defensive edge. Do you have a warrant?
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason.
You're right, logic. Someone has drawn a 5-pointed star on the wall.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise.
Oh, fuck.
No reply.
Let's see.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11.
What are my stats? Interfacing. My interfacing is... I have 2. No, I have... How many experience? Where do I see how many experience or level up points I have? Oh, right here. I have 2. I feel like this is best reserved for...
What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working.
God.
Despair creeps into you. Getting fat.
This is why I saved.
You're still coming up with sentences. That's a step up.
Yes, it can be difficult to be on the receiving end of some...
What? Books. Alright, no need to knock on that door.
This door has been closed. It's a solid. Better whip out those cutters. That isn't just a 5-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers. The iconography of communism, in other words.
Hold on, I need to do a thing. I don't even know what it is. Alright. I fucking hate doing BRBs, but I had to help my mom carry boxes downstairs. Boxes of books. So, now I gotta download the VOD. Now I gotta edit the VOD.
The Star and Antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mezov and the Communards during the Revolution.
Communards.
Even today, half a century after, the Star and Antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure.
Why is the star upside
To
down?
symbolize the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it.
What's the deal with the antlers?
The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world, and at the same time above it.
It sounds like impossible.
Because white is the color of peace.
Ah, yes. What is evoking me? What
This
the
spirit
fuck?
creeps into you, getting fat on your weakness. Whatever you're still coming up with sentences.
That's some
Yes,
horse
it can
shit.
be difficult to be on the receiving end of so much distrust and outright hatred.
All right. Fuck me, I guess. Closed by Martinez Realty Associates. Someone has torn down the wall. Waves crashing in the darkness.
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor. A former architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen, with temperatures falling down to minus 20 degrees Celsius.
What is that, like? $15 degrees? 0 degrees Fahrenheit? 15, 20? I don't know. I don't remember the conversion.
Is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in her expression.
The plan.
Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room with the neighboring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down.
Look around
It's
yourself.
clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a three-legged stool in the middle of the room. She had an eye for beauty.
Shiver. Graffito says a fire in the squad for the riot. Shh. Did I?
Give me a moment.
Okay. I did. Thank the Lord. Not looking at that, because fuck.
This door has been... It's a solid. Better whip out those cutters. No reply.
Alright. The auditor. Flip up glasses. Fiction notices and missing pets are plastered on top of each other. Old shoe rack. Dark rooms are covered in slime. I have $1. These shoes come in 3 different sizes. I wish there was an autosave. Or I wish the autosave was more frequent, sorry. Or back out here. No. Don't be afraid to say weird things. Unless it makes you want to commit suicide. Or go live under a bridge. Distant traffic. Breaker boxes full of cigarettes, butts, and electric wires. Ooh, more money! Rosemary, thyme, and a cactus. What's in here? Just a door. Nothing for me here right now.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security. Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives.
Let's see if anyone's home. Knock on the door.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? The smoker on the balcony. This is why we are here, right? He might know something about the murder. So tomorrow 9 p.m.?
Suddenly, he's a little worried about your memory. Don't worry. It's mostly all still here. You can remember things. You got this.
I don't think I can make it.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28. Good, let's go.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry. You'll get him. Remember, tomorrow, he's probably gone for today.
Apartment number 30. Voices from within. Singing along to some buoyant dance track. I need to fucking pay rent. I need to pay that bill. I don't have any fucking money though. Alright. I'm gonna have to go be a beggar.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
There's something about these tattoos.
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
So there's something about
Better
the
not
tattoos.
tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it.
I spoke with the
On the
lorryman.
contrary, officer. There are yet camioners you have not talked to. And don't look so surprised. In a time like this, it would be strange if Wild Pines didn't have eyes on the harbor.
They must have someone in an overlook position, near the gates.
I suggest you go back and canvass for more suspects.
Seem
is what you
rich.
want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it?
Why
Look
not?
at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub.
What
A
lustrous hair.
well-kept, yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Despite the first hints of grey, she's elected to keep it au natural, shaped into a permanent wave, late 40s style, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry, wealth and all its possibilities. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say everything is possible. Within
Everything
reason.
is possible. Within reason.
Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor, poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too...
I'm a
You think your
goddamn
little
working man.
communism protects you from this feeling? No. The more demeaning it is to grovel at her feet.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Let's give it a shot.
Voila, you're doing it.
Help me, I'm poor. I need money
Yes,
to keep living.
of course. I'm sad to hear that. How much do you need?
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she's letting on?
I need 100.
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and
Holy
hands
fuck,
them to you.
dude.
The paper is cold and oily to the touch.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You're right, man, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, and seemly as it may be, as long as they are properly logged with the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries?
I need someone to give me a
This
lowdown.
reality.
Yes, reality is your side case. An experimental side case.
Just give me the
No,
lowdown.
but please, a little context. We're not in such a hurry.
We have time for you to tell me why you need a reality lowdown.
I'm conducting a personal
Truly
investigation.
curious. A sort of philosopher detective.
My theory is that this inquiry into the nature of reality will ultimately converge with our murder investigation. They are really one and the same.
Are they now?
A deep synthesis. I'll assist you however I can then. Go ahead. Ask.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Where are we?
We're in Martinez, baby. A
Baby.
casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed.
I'm a disco holdover myself.
Aren't we all?
She refers to your corresponding ages.
And what is
Martinez
Martinez?
is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
Tell me more about
I'm not a good
Martinez.
ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. As I told you, Martinez used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its part. Now the reeds are the real star of the show here. The further down the coast, The wilder it gets.
You mentioned a sea. What sea
It's
is
not
this?
really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean. Yes,
The ocean.
we're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the blue immensities, vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
What's the name of this
Caillou,
island?
as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her and to humanity at large.
Okay, what's
Revachol?
Revachol?
Revachol is what you call a city.
What kind of city?
Great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism, a fact.
What makes it great?
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries.
Who built
The
it?
nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile-Marat, depending on your creed. In the
When?
DeLorean century, 380 years ago.
And why?
They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men.
Why here?
We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is.
So we're on the periphery.
Speak for yourself, officer. I'm well known in certain parts. As to the place, you're right. We are 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
Where are
We
we?
are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
But won't I be lazy if I don't do
Of course
one?
not. You are already diligent for getting this far, and diligent boys remember where they left off.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
What are
What
you?
I am not is a basic term of reality.
There may be a way to get her speaking about herself at some later juncture.
What is
A
this?
bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
I mean, what is this place
Ah.
here?
This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two.
What is Rue de Saint-Ghislain?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived
Mostly
in
the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat. Wonderful.
What is
The
that?
girl in the old lady rags. Looks like a
Yes.
sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture?
Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags.
Oh, she's a
She
contrarian.
prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
I understand everything. Now make it more
I
complicated.
can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
I think I may be part of
And
the
what would that be?
infraculture. Disco?
I can see that, yes. I dabble in those dark arts myself, not so long ago. I assure you, it was a thoroughly supracultural phenomenon. All permeating. Downright mandatory. Nothing infra about disco, baby.
Your
Those
disco?
days are long behind me. And even in the early 30s, I would say I was more of a new girl. Disco was a minor, but still enjoyable facet of the whole thing for me. The new, a cultural era, and the name of the decade it ravished, the 30s. It came out of post-revolutionary Revachol. It was ultra-liberal. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-colored everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Now,
Champagne? That doesn't sound like anything I'd be into. I'm straight
of course,
edge.
you're much more grounded. A serious detective on a case called Reality. Speaking of, is there anything else?
What times are
These
these?
are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
It's the
The
big
revolution.
time. What is this
It's
revolution?
quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Got shot in the
Those
head.
would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Communists and anarchists shoot
Did
back?
they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Sounds like they should have shot more people in the head then. Truly a kerfuffle.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it.
Anyone else get shot in the
Oh,
head?
lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
I loved that king. Fucking communists. I don't care about
About
kings.
head shooting,
I got the
the
mineral
liberals
rights.
got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
And my liberals.
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
I remember.
We She's one of them, of course.
Everyone got shot who was there to
To
surrender
foreign
to.
intervention. The Coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
We're the
The Coalition
coalition.
of Nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moralist.
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
I don't think I'm a moralist.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
When was this? 100 years
Turn
ago?
of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Started it.
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the
Prion, that's how
authorities
you
in
fucking
Grad
say
proved
it.
unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
What did the Zarat do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Wow, really?
Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where did it spread from
From
there?
Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
And what came
Why?
next?
You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar.
Our lives aren't the
No
same.
doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
What is the zone
A
of control?
city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened in the rest of the
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-easlary communication,
world? Shit.
telematic milieux,
Okay, thank
radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Been like this for 43
Time
years.
flies.
What have we been doing?
The
all that
20s
time?
saw a decade of urban war, west of the river level, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to 19 was simply hell.
And after
The
that,
30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
that's when they discovered
Yes.
disco.
And quantitative easing. It was a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it. An Isla-wide hangover, you might say. So, here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
Which side was Wild Pines Group
They
on?
picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not.
Yeah,
Perhaps
lucky.
it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom.
You
I would have
sided with the
sided
king?
with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company.
What would you have done
Good
differently?
question. What would you have done differently?
Medical solution, but that's ideal, but not practical, I would say, in this hypothetical. Killed more? Why, though? Made it out. Mineral rights?
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
I
A
guess.
cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck, toward the back of your head.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology 50 years ago?
Okay,
The
maybe it's
wind
impossible.
stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinez inlet.
Always.
Always. That's the can't-do attitude that truly defines late modernity. You may prove a modern man yet.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And
Bullshit.
what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable.
That's enough.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Now's your chance. Ask her who she is. She won't get out this time.
Seriously, I want to know who you are. Stop dodging. What
I
are you?
And the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra. Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist, no? Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
You're a monster. I don't care.
A fitting punishment, to be forgotten, if not forgiven. Save a prayer for us in our chateaus on Ozon and in Stella Maris. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you?
With
have
due
done something
respect to
different?
our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. if not for my own sake. Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
You're a patriot?
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? Glad to have
That's
been of
all for
assistance.
now.
The little that I know.
Thank you.
We should
what do you
think
have to
about
say?
calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for damages
We
yet.
should take care of that then.
The guy have the money now. His money, right?
I'll also take a room at the Whirling. One cannot get much closer to the crime scene.
He's proud of you for getting your act together and finding a way to pay back what you owe.
Yeah, it was certainly a way. No. Cindy.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
There's nothing there, so I'm good. I'm fine. Little girl, are you still standing out in front of your mother's bookstore? No. It's locked. Is it? Alright. The fuck? Why won't it let me go to any texts? Alright. Well, I wanna pay. Here, guard.
Can I help you?
Here's your trash container.
Thanks.
Key.
I hope you found what you were looking for.
Found the victim's
How
gloves.
strange. I certainly didn't put them there.
You don't remember putting them there. Maybe you were sleepwalking or in a fugue
I think
state.
fugue states are more your forte, officer.
Someone on your staff?
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene.
Huh. That's cool. Who else has
Trash
keys?
collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threads that solves itself down the road.
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway. It stops by a rusted trash container. Two men, their faces rough and swollen, jump out. They look at the container despondently. CSM is written on their backs.
Thank you anyway.
Let's talk about something else. So about that
Yes.
money now.
Have you got it?
I have your
Well.
money. Here's 100 real.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a
That's
room
not
here
much.
too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Not really. So do I just go to my room?
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Nice.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Alright.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically.
You think today
Well,
went?
we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it. I would say our initial inspection was very thorough, and we have solid leads to follow up on. The body is still hanging from that tree, which is unfortunate. But we performed a thorough search of the premises of the crime scene. That's great.
though he wishes the body were out of the tree, he doesn't want you to feel too discouraged. Probably out of fear that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
I'm not a very good cop, am I?
We're both doing our best under the circumstances. Just don't drink tonight, please. As for the interview, we weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We tried to interview the White Band's rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
If Kim is emphasizing something this much, it really must be important.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run about. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I just want to raise money for charity.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
So what are our powers?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebel Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
1,000, why not more? I mean, I know why. It's probably because they...
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Havashon.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be
Yes,
easy to
although
use?
indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
Okay,
We
what
can
else?
arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station closely. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
How can you be sure the arrestee will show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
If someone resists...
We are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethal.
Have I killed anyone?
That's an improbability, perhaps even impossibility.
I don't know if I really want to know.
Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence.
So if I kill someone...
You have
on
to
duty-
supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Yes. The last time was 4 years ago.
He says it matter-of-factly and moves on.
What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couvon and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
Makes all
The
these
coalition
rules.
government and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less.
Lonesome long way home. Jamais vu. Oh my god.
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Say it was the citizens.
Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Or if they think you do.
What
The
is
Moralist
moral
International
intern?
are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
How would you describe them if I didn't know?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
What do they believe
What do
in?
they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
What is their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something ominous.
Who was Dolores
A
Day?
historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
What do you think of
The
them?
moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
You like the moral
Yes,
intern.
I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad.
Someone forgot to voice it.
But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me.
Well, I understand there's
Do you?
so much dialogue in this game. What the fuck? These are bad. My opinion is one of these two. Kind of this.
In fact, we would need them even if you didn't think that way. We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes.
Maybe we should make our
Spoken
own
like a
law.
revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses, the red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over. The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock, in the GRIH. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our two precincts.
And in Jamrock and GRIH?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
We won't change anything.
Probably
here.
not. Anyway, positive change happens slowly. We never really get to see the impact of our actions.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Lonesome, long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox. 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people. Why did you come here? Why are you still here? And where's the dealer? You have to get back to work. That's all you have now.
I don't have a home. Realization.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate political opinions somewhere in Martinez.
Someone's got to keep it sane.
The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in a strangely tender way. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin. But something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience.
Where is the
It is not a
Kingdom of
place.
Conscience?
It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
How do you bring about those circumstances?
Incrementally. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment.
But what about all the things that are wrong
Tisk,
now?
Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What rationality?
Is it about doing things or just preserving the status quo?
Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed?
No.
Then you've never lived through real chaos. Sometimes, in the face of great disaster, defending the status quo is progress.
Okay, but what's the kingdom of conscience actually like?
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to describe. Partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The kingdom of conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
Oh. I don't feel like
What you want is immaterial. The kingdom of conscience is coming, whether you like it or not. Only very slowly.
Yes?
Ooh. Alright, I'm gonna try and
Yes.
convince Kim.
Only banal things
Fuck
strike
you.
you. At the core, you're a very banal person with a very small soul.
God damn it. Fucking knew it. Alright. Guess we're going inside. See ya.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Deep, dig deep.
Like the rest of you, it comes from a bad place somewhere in the past. That's all you know for now.
Tie still there?
This fan has 2 chain pull switches, or has it been consigned there as punishment? You feel as though this creature is your friend and wants to
Okay. Let's go on a little adventure. You lady.
The door is closed. Still no answer. Still nothing. This door can only be opened with a key or from the inside.
Alright, lady. Oronye. Lassier. Anybody have anything cool to say? No. Who know?
See? It's the fucking war pig! Try not to knock yourself out.
Still have a
You
case to
belittled
solve.
yourself before the Kuno. Now you must seek his forgiveness.
Want to make this right, Kuno.
Fucking war pig!
I was wrong to try to hit you.
Cool what? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I think you broke his brain when you fucked him up, Kuno.
You better come up with a way to make Kuno forget you tried to fucking hit him, piggo.
A material offering is implied. He wants stuff. Only stuff can make it okay again.
I don't have anything. What can I offer you?
You can
then?
pay tribute to Kuno with drugs or cigarettes. Gets Kuno to like you again. Some giant-ass wheels would be nice too.
Alright.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and white boots.
Alright. Yeah, here.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material.
Okay, call me a pussy if I, you know.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material.
Let's give it a shot.
Because it's nice and
Fuck
orderly.
you.
Well, it reveals no secrets at this time.
There's something in there, but I can't remember what it is. No. I'm tabbing. Oh. I'm fucking dumb. I also want to get past Measurehead. Welcome to Revershaw was in here. Measurehead is still standing right there. Get in. What's in the trash? Magnesium? I can fucking get some of that shit. Alright. We're gonna try this again.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
It's your kind of thing.
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
He had nothing to do with it.
Alright. I'm feeling lucky.
How did this happen? Your little
You must be out of your mind.
your fist.
The words to
No.
You feel something in your chest.
Heart attack.
An unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm. No. It's many years of combined There's no shame in surrendering now. Cop suffers final heart attack. A detective lieutenant of the RCM.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Now, motherfucker.
quicksand has only worsened since I
go.
last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Oh shit, boy.
Just like that, instinct took over. A solid strike straight into his throat, into the cartilage. You could swear you felt the soft palate break. The man is reeling, gasping for air. Time stands still around you. In the distance, the sounds of the harbor are falling silent. All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip.
It's time. This is revenge, motherfucker. This is revenge for the failed check for when I click this. I'm not gonna make the same mistake again.
The man lands with a dull thump, like a broken down puppet of muscles and sinew. For a moment, he still tries to keep his head up, dazed eyes looking at you with unimaginable surprise. To your left is the button. As you slam your fist on the button, the man collapses entirely, his head rolling to the side.
Looks like you're the new measurehead now.
I just want to do my job. We have here.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara. And the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold.
Okay, that's normal.
It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry.
Let's give this a shot.
Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water
Borscht.
Everart's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled. Doesn't look too incriminating, but still feels like a find. Remember, Leo, all items on the drawer slides shut smoothly.
Every worker equals member of the board. Demand democracy.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change.
I feel like I should save that for the next day. What's in here? Magnesium. Neat office shades. I could probably go with some neat office shades. I don't need you, drama. What? How do I talk to the union leader then? Oh. I'll be taking that.
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here. The white rectangle of the Revachol Citizens Militia is clearly visible on its back. This is your cloak. You can feel it. As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost feels like the cloak wants to deliver a message of comfort through your fingertips. I will shield you from the elements and give my life for yours. That's what the cloak is relaying.
It's down there. Or right there. Collecting rainwater. Your pack's worth of cigarette butts.
All those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here.
Wait, how hard?
Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red, and almost 4 packs of cigarettes. It must have been pretty hard.
Did I do this?
Look at it. Of course it was you. You partied here.
Must have been on an advanced scouting mission.
Yes, that's what this was. A reconnaissance mission. Wish you'd only remember the good intel you brought back. This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather.
Maybe Renee is hiding something
Nothing
interesting.
incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, René, is dressed in a Royal Carabinier uniform. The girl is young and very pretty. She is smiling playfully at the camera. René looks like he's about to smile. This photo must be tied to some good memories.
Have a seat.
The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons. Stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs, though. The inside of the booth is immaculate.
Search for a little something.
The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. They are slightly out of date. You take the painkillers. They are yours now. Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, prophet's disease, sudden death, hair death, erectile malfunction, critical flatulence, watery blood, black mucus, uncontrollable weeping, increased sensitivity to La Opera, inoperable joint disorder, total spinal collapse. Maybe this was a bad idea. You stand and exit the booth.
Volson. Great machines are sleeping. Actually, there's no work to organize in the yard below. Industrial-sized thermos. Banner sags under the weight of... What is this?
Container, container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container, container, put the logos on.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he goes along. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisunt on Muindi.
Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard. Everard, 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 he looks after everyone. Huh? Well, hey there. How can I help you, mister?
The look in his deep blue eyes is as sincere as you've ever seen. Kind of makes you feel like an arsehole for no apparent reason.
I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you?
What is it with you people and scabs?
I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister.
Where is everyone?
Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2 months now.
So no one's
Not
working?
everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is. And Jean-Luc is guarding the gate. But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so.
What kind of trouble?
Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about that. That's union business. Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling them to take some time off.
Did they kill
No,
someone?
I don't think they killed anyone. Let's better talk about something else. Titus and his boys do good work. I don't want to get them in trouble over a little drinking.
He probably doesn't know anything anyway. Who in their right mind would tell him?
Leo?
Oh, yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the borscht.
What was that about the borscht?
Oh, yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strike started. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done.
What do you mean by this?
Yes, yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags.
Who makes
Oh,
it?
the whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad. Oh, sure, mister. Sure. You do that. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. But everyone calls me Leo. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town. And Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady. A
Miss
real pretty
Beaufort?
lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down beside the radio. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Who is
Oh,
Miss
Lizzie.
Buford?
She is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years she was gone, and when she came back, she was all fancy and lawyerly.
He respects that word. That's obvious.
But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood. Knows everybody and gets along with everyone. Real pillar of the community one day, I'm sure.
For a fraction of a second, there's sadness in his eyes.
If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't have kids. Dr. Lemaitre said so, and she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years, she has.
So Everett trained a lawyer named Miss Beaufort. Interesting.
Well,
doing a
thanks a
great
lot.
job.
Coming from you, it means a lot, really. Sometimes I feel some of the guys don't really get how much I bust my ass for them here. But you guys are alright.
The white rectangle on your clothes might not mean an awful lot in Martinez, but the recognition from an authority figure made Leo's day.
Looking for
Oh,
the
you
leader.
want Mr. Everett then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighborhood. Guys like Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school we did when we were boys.
I just want to know where he is.
Mr. Everett is usually in his office, of course. But he already left for the day. He always leaves around 10 p.m. Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up. Oh, yes. Born and raised in Irish, mister. Mum had to leave my dad after he got a bit violent. Took us here to the new world. I was about 10 then. Too old to lose my accent then. People say us Ubies are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot. I just want you to know there was never any of that where I come from. No, sir. Those are just nasty rumors. Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
What's going on here? Is this a dead end?
The containers in the yard are green in Wild Pine's livery, and the mountains rising behind Leo is all red in Union colors. It's like some red infection was spreading outwards from the container yard's core.
This looks like a massive redecorating operation.
Yes, moving from inwards to outwards. By the looks of it, soon everything will be in Union colors.
No one told you why you need to
No,
change
not really.
colors?
Mr. Everett doesn't tell me all the big things. Says I go and tell them to everyone. Oh,
Thanks,
no
Leo.
trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. Bye-bye now.
What's in here?
A large table with two huge vacuum-insulated thermal coffee dispensers. Someone has forgotten a small plastic card next to the stacks of cups. You snatch up the red plastic card. It features a black contour of a crane lifting a container. The name, Etienne Hogarth, is written in the middle. Below it, in smaller text, member of the board. It comes with a magnetic strip meant to open electronic doors.
Alright, got my way out. get back to the hotel where I can go to bed. I knocked Measurehead out. I paid my fine. I got 100 real from Joyce. I don't know. I guess I need to get drugs for Kuno. So, what is this? What's the rest of the armor?
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friso. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism, they represent a society in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it.
Why Friso?
Because Friso was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international development, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel. La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
I think I'm good. Well, I think that is it for me for today. Other than that, yeah, I don't really have much. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Have a time. Or whatever. I'm tired. Goodbye.